Today's meme of the day is... So, I think it's safe to say, people, Death Battle ever since they've become independent, they've definitely peaked with their animation as well as their analysis. Well, just in general, like, Death Battle's peaked a lot. I'll take their silence as a yes.
I think that's one way to put it.
Now, a lot of people, thanks to, let's be real here, Bowser vs. Eggman, many people started reacting to Death Battle a lot more. It's been getting more notice online. Even some people in comic books, TV shows have been getting involved. The actor for Bakugo got involved in the Bakugo vs. Rexplode Death Battle cast episode.
That's just nuts.
It really is crazy with just how much... Like, Death Battle has never struggled in terms of that many, like, viewership in the past. But I don't know what it is, but it seems like for the last 2 years now, like, Death Battle's been getting more and more attention from, like, a lot of media to its point. Interviews are being had, like, with, you know, with Todd McFarlane. He was being interviewed, like, hey, this show's doing an episode with your character, how do you feel about it? And he stroked his ego a bit. There was this YouTuber I watch called Elara, she's a VTuber, and she did ask a question to her chat in the live stream, because she was watching Kratos vs. Azra, a fantastic episode to react to after Bowser vs. Eggman.
I was gonna say I showed Bill this clip if he'll show the clip on screen, and hopefully Elara doesn't take our video down.
Please, Elara, don't hit us with your big booby copyright thing. And no, I'm not being a pervert. She literally makes a point that her breasts are like the biggest thing of her VTuber. Frankly, it's not the tits that make me watch her; it's the fact she's hilarious. I mean, she referenced the whole piss beam in the Bowser vs. Eggman reaction. That was enough for me to subscribe.
Fair enough.
If you know the Sonic fandom series, that's an instant subscription from me.
Yeah, but as Bill was saying, like, a lot of people started watching Death Battle recently, and Elara is an example of that.
And she brought up a point that people have spoke about, but I never really thought about it at the time until she mentioned it.
Okay, so really quick, chat. Do you think that Rooster Teeth actually held back Death Battle? Because I feel like ever since they went solo, their animations have been so good. I really feel like everybody that helped them with their crowdfunding really allowed them to do so much better. Like, this looks incredible.
Now, it's no secret, Death Battle under Rooster Teeth, when Rooster Teeth went under, Death Battle was going to struggle a bit because, one, their IP was in danger. Luckily, Ben was able to get it back. But how were they going to fund future episodes? Because Death Battle episodes were kind of expensive. But people started to wonder, was Rooster Teeth also kind of holding back on a lot of Death Battle? I would answer that with yes, but also no. As the good old pirate.
I'd just straight up answer it with no.
Well, I'll be the different one so that we all have a case to argue. I'm going to say yes.
Okay, we have a yes, a no, and a no.
Perfect.
I guess for a more the neutral one, I guess I will go first because, okay, so how I kind of look at it is, what do people mean by Death Battle was held back? Do they mean from a creative standpoint or financial? Because the way I say no to is the creative standpoint. Rooster Teeth had no influence on how a Death Battle episode was made. Now, before anyone says, oh, there was that time Rooster Teeth wanted RWBY to win against Ragnar DBX, that was for a promotion. They're allowed to kind of say that to an extent. Is it a bit scummy to have RWBY win to promote a RWBY show? Yes. But they never influenced RWBY episodes. Like, you know.
That also happened with Cuphead and Bendy's episode, oddly enough, because they were advertising a special sale for Bendy and like his new game. But people didn't care for that.
No, it's just a RWBY one because it's owned by Rooster Teeth. Look, it's no secret when Rooster Teeth acquired Screw Attack and Death Battle after Yang vs. Tifa, yeah, some people kind of put on their tinfoil hats on. I was kind of one of those people for a little bit, but you know, because at the time
I will just say that announcement came after Mega Man Astro Boy.
Yeah,
Just throwing it out there.
yeah, like I think the timing of it was a bit like no, that's a bit sus. But I don't. But as we've seen with like DBXs and Death Battles, Rooster Teeth don't at the time. They never. I say at the time because Death Battles don't mind them. They had no influence on how a Death Battle episode went. Blake had a DBX against an anime character I'm not familiar with. She lost. Yang had an episode against Bakugo. She lost. I don't think there was any other RWBY DBX as far as I'm aware, aside the RWBY one, but we already discussed that.
It was
There would have been one with Sun.
Yeah, that was another one, and apparently Torian was going to let Kim Woo win, which is, hey, I'm rooting for that, you know, always down for the Killer Instinct character getting the win. I'm really sad that episode never came out, though. I would have loved to have seen it. But, because they even had Michael voice Sun again as well, because Michael really loves voicing Sun, and Sun's an underrated character. I don't like what they've done with him lately. He has become the Yamcha of RWBY now, which is kind of sad. Like, I was watching Volume 1 recently, I was like, man, Sun used to be so much cooler. What happened to you? What happened to our good old monkey boy?
He became Samcha.
Samcha! Can someone... If I will try that in, it'll be a pain in the ass, but if someone could actually do fan art of freaking Sun in the Yamcha dead pose. Oh god, that would be hilarious. But, yeah, like, sure, you could make an argument about, you know, was it a bit petty Rooster Teeth wanted RWBY to win a random DBX just to promote a new season of RWBY? But that's like 10% of all the other Rooster Teeth related death battles or versus things they've done. Like, and many of the people behind RWBY, Rooster Teeth, never influenced anything with Death Battle, because this might come as a shock to you. Rooster Teeth had a lot of people under them. You had Funhouse, Achievement Hunter, what was that group that Uber Axonova was part of? I'm trying to remember what they were now, but you know,
Creatures? Something like that?
yeah, Creature Hub, I think they were called. They even had some stock in Machinima series, because Rooster Teeth actually funded the Transformer series that Machinima were doing at the time. Don't watch it, it's a piece of shit. And I only say that because Transformers 1, I think, is peak Transformers. You know, Rooster Teeth just had these companies under them, but they pretty much just let them do their thing. Funhouse were doing their own stupid things where they'll play video games of demos and then look up Rule 34 of the characters from something they've just played. I'm not even kidding. It's because of their...
And they also look up like Rule 34 of Achievement Hunter at one point.
And RWBY, it's like... And they also looked up Rule 34 for Kanan Lynch. Why I did not need to see that Funhouse. You ruined Kanan Lynch for me. For those that don't know, Kanan Lynch was a third-person shooter made by the same people behind Hitman. Really underrated series. Never got that third game.
Yeah, because the second game was ass.
It was not arse. The second game was fun.
Yes, it was.
It was not. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't make me get the band hammer. Mario, come in.
Compared to the first one, Bill.
It's the first one. The first one was janky. Do you know what? We're not having this debate now. That could be for another time. We'll do a lads debate. Kanan Lynch 1 versus Kanan Lynch 2. Let's go. Alright, but the main point that I try and look at is from a creative standpoint. No, Rooster Teeth did not hold Death Battle back. They allowed it to do whatever. The only time Rooster Teeth had something involvement was Death Battle said, hey, can we use this map for Ryu versus Jin? They're like, yeah, sure. Can we use a Weiss model for the Weiss Death Battle? Yeah, sure. That's literally it. I think the Blake model was like handmade by Torian. I could be wrong about that.
No, it was the same model from Volume 8.
Fair enough. I guess it was. I always thought they were handmade anyway.
No, the made from scratch one was Mikasa.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like, so many Death Battle themselves, even after Rooster Teeth, you know, went bankrupt at the time, which I'm really happy they're making a comeback. You know, the people behind Death Battle have gone ahead and said, even animators who left Death Battle said like, yeah, no, we were never told to let a Rooster Teeth or animate RWBY character win. Like, if animators who left Rooster Teeth can confirm, no, that conspiracy is bullshit, why can't people just accept that?
No, people could never.
own
No,
opinion.
people can never accept it whenever it was said throughout the course of just like Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
And it was stupid.
Yeah, like, look, companies can be shady at times, but companies can lie about and stuff like that. Like, people in the industry of, like, TV shows and movies, like, I think my creative writing teacher said it best, all writers are liars and thieves. That's not to do with an insult, that just means whatever they say won't always be 100% true. Like, I was inspired by this, I wasn't involved in that. They could be lying about it. I mean, look at Andrew Garfield. He said he wasn't in Spider-Man No Way Home. He was. He's a liar.
Well, what was he supposed to do? Say, yeah, I'm in it, and spoil the surprise?
Yeah, but if I really had to go tinfoil hat bill on, could maybe someone in RWBY was like pleading with Ben and Chad to let Blake win her episode against Mikasa? People, I still don't understand how you guys could say Mikasa wins. That fight's a slaughter.
Yeah, no, Mikasa does not win. I say this as someone who loves Attack on Titan, and Mikasa is my favorite character.
Yeah. Like, I think even Homelander had more advantages in his death battle against Omni-Man than Mikasa against Blake. But with that said...
No, I would actually say Mikasa had more going for her.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I think Homelander somehow stood a better chance.
Homelander literally had one thing that could actually disrupt Omni-Man's powers. Mikasa literally had nothing.
Oh no, here's the thing. He had two things that Omni-Man couldn't counter. Mikasa, one.
That is true, I remember the sidebars. But regardless of...
let's see, Mikasa had, like, way more experience thanks to her Rockman blood. Plus, that whole win con of, like, if she could land a direct hit with the Thunder Spears, then... yeah, that is a solid win con. It's just Blake's too fast.
Also, I'm pretty sure people have also said, yeah, those wouldn't actually do as much. I think you even said those missiles probably wouldn't do as much damage. After all, you are the same person that said Adam can keep up with people who could apparently survive a nuke. Yes,
yeah, I have said that, but I'm saying that is still a potential thing.
And yes, people, for the record, I am still bitter about Adam versus Nemesis. Nemesis should have won. Anyway, but
I'm still bitter about a lot of things. We don't have to go into that, though.
You could make some tinfoil hat argument that someone in Rooster Teeth was like, please let Blake win, please let Blake win. But Death Battle has specific... Death Battle people, I don't know why I say it like that, have literally gone ahead. Even Ben has said to people who've tried to do promotions with their characters, we're not just going to have your character win if there's no way they can win, and your character could kill someone. And they've lost sponsorships for that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if so many of these people are like, oh, you're doing this episode, can we sponsor you? Is our character going to win? No, then we're not sponsoring you. Okay. Like, Death Battle are not people that were willing to mess... Like, if they make a mistake, they make a mistake on their own terms. Like, I still don't really agree with Omni-Man beating Bardock, but they didn't just, like, give Omni-Man the win because Invincible's more popular at the moment. No, they won because they thought they found a way that Bardock couldn't hurt Omni-Man and Omni-Man could win. I disagree with it.
I think they have joked, like, if they were doing Death Battle based on, like, creators giving them cash, then it'd be so much easier to make the show.
It probably would, like...
They'd be rich.
I mean, hell, Dragon Ball has even sponsored them in the past, despite them having more, at the time, more Dragon Ball losses than wins.
Like the only couple of times Death Battle sponsors been okay with the episode. One is Warframe, because they were just like, hey, just make an episode of our character, we don't give a shit. And apparently Mortal Kombat was like, use an MK character, and everyone was just like, I love this episode. I'm using that as a fatality now.
Or even better, hey, how about that time Black Adam was being used as in a Death Battle and they were sponsoring a Death Battle cast? Hey, Black Adam lost, so even when they're sponsored, the character could lose. Now, that's on the creative standpoint, but where does my yes aspect come into this?
I actually want to throw out another just thing.
Go ahead, and then I'll get to my yes point.
There's a video on my channel of someone who worked on Death Battle episodes, one of which was Weiss vs. Mitsuru, confirming that no, they are not biased, and in fact, for that particular episode, he wishes they were.
There you go. But yeah, but where does my yes stand on? Because I'm neutral on this. I'm the whole yes and no, the whole did Rooster hold them back? Financially, yes, because as Death Battle was getting more animators and more like, well, not more sponsorships. They weren't actually getting that much sponsorship from like other people like they do now. But they didn't have the financial backing as something, let's say, well, RWBY and Rooster Teeth had, because Rooster Teeth's main selling point was, one, their podcast and their animated series, hint hint RWBY. It was their biggest like franchise. So yeah, it makes sense they would put more money towards RWBY, which at the time was really popular. And of course though, as RWBY was going on, and it wasn't doing too well commercially when it came to like critics and even the fan base, hence why they had to get Crunchyroll to help, you know, get at least season 9 out there, and Warner Bros to help out with the crossover films, whereas the first one did good, the second one did not do well financially.
Well, keep in mind also the world kind of went to shit in one particular year, which halted a great number of things.
Okay, yeah, but I don't think that had anything to do with the RWBY Justice League crossovers. Like, because Rooster Teeth was spending more money on...
No, but it did have to do with just production of the show.
Right, but my main point I'm trying to get at is that, you know, they had to... When you look at it from a... I actually did business studies in college. Now, and in... Sadly to say, in a lot of companies, you kind of have to be sparing with your budget, because even if you favour one thing, you've got to look at what's earning more. And Death Battle Wild was doing good at viewership. It's not as big of a moneymaker as, say, Achievement Hunter with their like content, or RWBY. It was a really big franchise, and yes, it has sadly lost its sort of dedicated fan base, but it was still financially stable until it wasn't. And unfortunately, you know, the big old Looney Tunes Warner Bros, because they just love axing things that aren't earning the billions, decided they had to cut corners. And Death Battle had to kind of figure out their own way under Rooster Teeth to get money to fund the future episodes, which was, you know, the membership thing. But one thing you got to remember is, under Warner Bros. And Rooster Teeth, they still had to give some of those earnings to their bosses. So, like, if you were to compare the quality of, like, the last 2 years of Death Battle, you could definitely see a step up from when they were under Rooster Teeth. There's a lot of episodes when they were under Rooster Teeth, you could tell they didn't put that much money into in terms of animation quality. I think Black Adam versus Apocalypse was a good example of that, because, one, that was a sponsored episode by Warner Bros. For Black Adam, and the analysis did kind of feel rushed, a lot of it. Animation was still good, but compared to, say, let's say, like, Gojo versus Makima, yeah, the quality of that episode just far outpaces Black Adam versus Apocalypse by a lot. Like, even the close-up shots of Black Adam versus Apocalypse do kind of look cheap. Or Cable versus Booster Gold, man. That T-Rex animation, Jesus Christ, I could draw a better T-Rex than that.
It looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card called Doodle Beast.
Doodle Beast.
That's a real Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Really? Oh god, I need to Google that after
Yes.
this recorded session.
Hey,
So-
I'll get you an image right now if you want to keep going.
Sure, we need to record my reaction to it. It needs to be immortalized. So, you know, from a creative standpoint, no, I don't think Rooster Teeth were holding Death Battle back. Financially, though, from a business standpoint, I can understand why they would. Because, yeah, Death Battle's big. It wasn't big as all the other Rooster Teeth IPs or even anything under Warner Bros. So Death Battle kind of had to be creative with a lot of things and get, as you know, a good amount of episodes out. But now that they're independent and had a good financial backing, and they're getting a lot more sponsorships now and more attention thanks to a lot of their hype episodes, you can definitely see quality increasing with their animation, especially when they have like more people that are just... I don't want to disrespect any of the previous animators they used to have. Like, they're good animators, but I mean, the people behind 1 Minute Melee, you guys are good, but you guys are not competing with Torian or Moro anytime soon.
Alright, Bill, are you ready to see this?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's see this.
I got two perfect images for you. I present the Doodle Beast archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh!
These are actual canonical creatures, Jesus Christ.
Yup, they've been used in the anime too.
Oh my god. Okay, do you know what? I take back everything I said about the Cable and Booster Gold T-Rex. It looks a lot better than these. I'll say that.
It's a dinosaur archetype too, so it's a deck you can play, Lamau.
Watch I play it for the first time. These are the things that help me win. Yeah, so I can understand why people are starting to say this with a lot of newer Death Battles, because we've been spoiled with a lot of recent quality episodes. Because, especially with animators picking episodes they really want to do, like Devil Artemis with Aura and Kratos, man, you could tell, like, he put his soul into that episode.
I think that was kind of always the case.
Yeah, like
not just the animators, but also the researchers. This was a thing they did, like, when they were planning out a season. It's like, okay, here are the matchups we're gonna do. What do you guys specifically want to work on?
Unless it's Sasuke.
no one wanted Sasuke.
Yeah.
Researchers, you're mean to my boy. Even Ben was kind of mean to Sasuke. He always hated him. But yeah, I can understand why people are saying that now, because the quality of Death Battle episodes these days are just amazing. Like, when you compare Bowser versus Ganon to Bowser versus Eggman, or Eggman versus Wily to it, it's like, you could definitely tell they stepped up.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's also because, like, they just get better as the show goes on.
Yeah.
Like, the people making this show, like, you know, they get better at what they do.
Yeah. Well, with that said, though, you know, when they were under Roosted, there were a few episodes you could tell were either rushed or they didn't feel as though they had that much of a budget on them. Like Blake vs. Mikasa, it took me a while to actually like the episode, because I just felt as though with previous Torian episodes, it just felt more fast-paced. But as I watched more of it, what Torian was going for, it's like, okay, he wanted a bit of a style change, and yeah, to be honest, there was a lot of cool details they put into this fight.
I was gonna say Backdoor versus Spider-Way.
Yeah, that's another 3D fight, which it should have been good. Like, these are really cool characters. This should have been a really good episode. It was not, though. By both analysis, jokes, research, and fight, it's a bad episode. I usually don't like saying that. No, that is objectively bad. You could tell they just did not have the passion for it. They were just like, oh.
Well, that I think at least at the time, that was when the Source filmmaker guys, like, hand-to-hand combat wasn't their best area.
Yeah, so...
And that was kind of like a whole thing with that matchup.
Yeah, the episode's just bad. And I want to like it. I love both Spider-Gwen and Batgirl. So, but at the same time, when we got that episode, we also eventually got Hulk vs. Broly, a really good finale to that season. So, I can see creatively, Rooster did not hold them back. Financially, though, I do believe they did hold them back. But that's what you do in a business. You've got to go for something that's earning more money than something that's earning good money, but it's not your main thing. Because even Roosterteeth themselves, what did they advertise more? RWBY or Death Battle? Like, big shocker, it was RWBY. Because that's their baby. That's all I got to say about it. I don't think they held them back as much as people want to say. I guess we'll give this to Mate, because you are very passionate that Rooster did not hold them back at all.
Yeah. One example I'll actually give is actually some stuff that the Death Battle team have said since going independent and actually addressed this idea themselves. Even Dave Lau said no. In fact, behind the scenes, when they first got acquired by Roosterteeth, they started learning techniques and stuff behind the scenes, which made the show way more efficient than it did back in Screw Attack. So that right there, it just shows being a part of Roosterteeth was a good thing. It taught them a lot of stuff, which they then carry over into what we have now. I mean, that was my main point. That's also the whole the show just naturally gets better over time. Of course, if you compare episodes we have now to ones we got 12 years ago, of course the one we have now is going to be better. Because these guys have been doing this for a long time. Also, given the decisions that I remember hearing that Craig made a Screw Attack, Roosterteeth was the better place.
Yeah, lately a lot of things have come out about Craig, which I'm just You know what, Craig? You seem like an alright guy, but I didn't watch enough of your content. But he's now become one of those like anti-woke channels, and it's so cringe. He's not
He went from stuttering Craig to a stuttering mess.
Dang.
Even like Yang Insane, who was a big Screw Attack fan, she's been a fan of it for a long time. Never used to shut up about it, saying how much she loves Craig and all this. But when Death Battle rebranded and she didn't become a fan anymore, and she's still stuck with Craig. Even she had to admit, I think it was like either last year or this year, she's like, yeah, Craig is kind of a jerk. I was like,
it was last year.
And I was just like, why? And she showed me a few clips. I was like, you know, I never watched much of this guy, but yikes.
Glad you didn't.
Was that when he got outed as a homophobe?
Out as a homophobe, a transphobe, a bit of a racist. And just in own general, just a petty. You know what? It's even funny as well. I remember watching like a few of the Mario Party episodes at Game Attack, and you know, it was funny at first glance when he turned off the game when they were about to finally win their first match. I still love that clip when Chad. I've never seen Chad so angry before.
So it's on the left. Again.
Yes, we won! Finally! What? It's done!
He powered off the f***ing piece of shit! You f***ing piece of shit!
What?
Sam, you guessed correctly!
What happened? There's an issue with the controller, bro!
But then he did it
That's
again.
what Mario Party does to you.
But then he did it again, and then again, and then again. It got to a point I realised, do you know what? I could be petty with Mario Party. You can ask Bernie and my family that. I'm a petty bitch. Like, I stopped my girlfriend from stopping me from stealing coins. I literally grabbed her and I was like, no, I'm taking your coins. But if I was about to lose, I would not just turn off the switch. I'm not petty like that. Craig, on the other hand, he came off as a bit petty, like, and it seemed like he hated losing. Like, I think he had to be escorted off, like, I think it was either at a Screw Attack convention or Roosterteeth one, where he got so angry at a game and they had to escort him out to calm down. So I actually will agree with you on that aspect. Yeah, I think when it comes to like the bosses, you know, the guys at Roosterteeth did seem like the better option. You know, minus the homophobic ones that got exposed. Minus those ones.
Yeah, well, also that and just the whole, like, you know, learning, like, how to be more efficient, like, behind the scenes and, like, you know, what goes into making a production and stuff. Because, again, it was a lot of stuff they did not know at the time. Which, of course, then they picked up at Rooster Teeth, and it was also thanks to Rooster Teeth they got Unreal Engine, which really boosted the 3D stuff. Like, remember when we got Optimus versus Gundam?
True.
And how everyone was, like, freaking out about how great the animation is now? Yeah, got that while at Rooster Teeth. Just throwing it out there.
That's valid. That's valid. Those are good arguments. So looking at the time now, is there any more you want to add to that, and then we'll let Sean have a bit talking about why he says yes?
Nah, I think I'm good.
All right. So surely, I'm in the yes and no, where I feel as though creatively they didn't hold them back, but I did think financially. Main things just in general, Rooster didn't hold them back at all. But you say yes. Why?
Big part of it is something I agree with Bill on. It's the whole financial situation. More than just that, like, it's been stated multiple times. I think not just my Death Battle team, but like other people have confirmed it, that like every year Death Battle's budget has gotten smaller and smaller. But you know, Bill already tackled that issue like better than I could, since he was a business major.
I got a B+. Don't ask how.
And there's also, talking about financial contracts. A lot of people were let go because they didn't want to renegotiate a contract with being under Rooster Teeth. And I think it was season 10 alone, we lost so many people like after that season ended. Despite the fact that Battle wanted them to come back because they couldn't renegotiate any deals, which they had to go through Rooster Teeth apparently. Some examples include Dai Tomodachi. I don't believe we've seen him ever since. Marissa Lanty was let go, but they brought her back for Kratos' Saucer, which I freaking love because Marissa's dope. And I forget his name, but he's the guy who does the Rex skits. He also was let go via contract.
Contracts be a bitch.
They be a bitch, especially when you. I think Bill or Mate, you guys have said it. Torian also wasn't brought back on initially because of the management at Rooster Teeth or something like that. So can play a part.
There was two factors with Torian. One, yes, there was a lot of racism that did get brought up by the higher ups at Rooster Teeth, which they eventually got fired, which is good. Torian, though, was just not comfortable with that. And also, he did get brought onto EA to do the Jedi Survivor game, which is like, I don't know why, that's kind of a step up for his animation. From doing fan fights to officially working on a Star Wars Dark Souls project, like, who would say no to that?
And so I definitely think a big part of why I would say yes for this question is definitely financially you get held back. Then there's someone explained to me when Death Battle first did memberships why someone would pay a $10 membership to not only get the membership for the Death Battle channel, to get an RT First membership when RT First memberships were already $6.
Huh.
Yeah, that was the thing with the original memberships. Like, there were 3 different levels. There was the basic one, there was the $5 one, which at the time gave you the same perks as RT First, and it was cheaper than RT First, which I was surprised by, apparently. And then, like, the highest paid one, you got an RT membership.
Huh.
It was never explained why. So there's a part of me that thinks maybe it's something Rooster Teeth had them do. Perhaps I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I guess
I don't know an answer to that.
I guess once again, going into my college degree, they were probably trying to find a business way to like earn a bit of money for both Rooster Teeth as well as themselves. Because I won't admit which job this is, not my current or my previous job, under potentially suffering a lawsuit. But we did have to cut corners on certain aspects, and we did make something more expensive, even though it was cheaper if you just bought it on its own. Again, I'm not saying which it is, but companies do that to try and... It is a manipulation tactic. It is scummy. I don't respect it. From a business standpoint, though, it makes financial sense why you would do it.
It's one of those things where I never understood why that was the case, and no one ever, like, explained it. And, like, explain how it would work in a concept either, like, if you think about it, because RT First was exclusively on the Rooster Teeth website. How would you give a membership to that from a YouTube membership?
Yeah, don't some profiles like have where you can like link stuff? Like, for example, how you can link your YouTube with your Discord.
Oh, correct me if I'm wrong. When YouTube made an RT First account, wasn't it you needed your email?
Yeah, I actually don't remember. Like, I never looked into that. I just used my RT First.
I meant when you were making RT First, did you require an email?
Oh yeah,
Well, yeah.
You're like that with any sort of account. Netflix, Disney Plus, YouTube.
I guess in a way they have it. I could be wrong and it's not 100%, but my guess is how that worked is it would get that, and then they would send that to probably someone who knew more about like the RT stuff to find the emails linked to the YouTube account in question. I feel like a lot of people use Gmail for it or whatnot, but they can get the links through that, and that's how they get the RT First, maybe?
Yeah, after you mention that, it does sound as though there was a bit of shady things going on to try and earn a bit. Not in terms of like, trying to squeeze the money out of the fans, because we can do that. I think it was more so with Death Battle struggling financially at the time under Rooster Teeth doing that. Maybe they were trying to, again, do like a very scummy... Like, I don't own a business. Like, my YouTuber channel is not a business, it's a hobby. And at most of my monetization... From my monetization, I only earn 70 pence. I can literally buy a freaking single Mars bar at my corner shop with what I earn from YouTube. But if I was in that point where I was in charge of a company that had 2 million subscribers, but then I was losing I wasn't getting as much financial backing from my bosses, I would probably resort to thinking, right, we do need to earn a bit more money. What can we do? Would I feel good about doing it? Absolutely not. I'd feel like a little bit of my soul would just break in half by manipulating things like that. From a business standpoint, though, you can understand why many companies, even to today, do that tactic. Because they need to be financially stable to continue doing what they do.
Well, yeah, it's still like, there was probably something, I'll just say odd rather than shady going on with that original tier of membership. We've since revamped it, of course, but still.
Yeah, maybe at the time they just didn't know what to do with it because they were they were just suddenly hit with that. They're like, oh crap, we've had to do loads of layoffs. We had to do this. What do we do? So they were brainstorming ideas and they didn't fully think of it at the time. I mean, I will say it makes more sense than Donald Trump's tariffs he's doing right now.
That's not going into that.
I was gonna say because the membership started in season 8, so it was a thing for a couple years.
Did it? I thought it was after that.
No, it started in season 8 because of Harley Quinn vs. Jinx is in the preview.
That was
video
season 9.
9 or whatever. So it still went on for like a couple years starting then. Another thing is going all the way back to a big controversy in season 6, the dreaded copyright bot. Instead of fixing the problem when Death Battle asked them to, they just kept it on for God knows how long.
Yeah, that definitely affected their viewership when a lot of reaction channels were kind of being hit with a ban hammer, and it gave them a bad image, but their bosses were just like, whatever, we'll earn money from them.
So it's just, for me, a part of it's just not the bot itself, because like that's a bot that's automated. It's just the fact that Death Battle themselves are like, hey, we don't approve this. Can you do something? They're just like, no.
Yeah. It is
actually. I'll just throw this out there. I got hit with copyright stuff, and I think Ben even reached out to me, just being like, "Hey, if you ever get hit with this and it's a problem, just let me know and I'll solve it."
Yeah, and
then eventually it just never happened again.
But sadly, some people never got that treatment, and it kind of led to them doing what someone like a reaction channel did, who we don't bring up, but got me absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I had to get creative with some of my reactions because my Sauron versus Lich King at the time, I didn't have a text over it originally, but then when I got hit with a copyright it wasn't like, oh, your video just won't be shown in Russia. Like, one of my Among Us videos was copyrighted, like, oh, Russians won't be able to see this. I'm like, all right, I don't want Putin to be watching my Among Us videos, but then it was like, now my videos won't be shown. My reactions weren't being shown at all, so I had to get creative with my text boxes, which, looking back on them, I don't think those videos are as entertaining to watch when a good chunk of your screen is just text.
So, I've also gotten hit with this before. The worst example of when I get hit by Roosterteeth's copyright bot system was Vader versus Obito. You know why I specifically got hit on that video? They thought I had the RTX preview that was shown.
Wow, that is bad.
So, hey, you laugh at that. I had to deal with that for 24 hours trying to get my video back.
Sorry, it is just a little funny. Just in terms of like, just like, oh, is that the preview? Like, no, it's the episode.
I've been hit by that with, funny enough, Resident Evil 6. My first ever part for Chris's campaign. I got hit by E3 saying I was showing the trailer that was shown at the convention. I was like, this is my own game footage.
I remember looking at this because I had to do it on the YouTube Studio app to file my copyright claim, which is why it took longer. They said, and I quote, I had a file called rtxsneakpeek.mp4. The bot thought I had that specific file, despite it being a full episode.
Wow.
YouTube bots be dumb, yo.
Yeah, they really are.
And it still kind of sucks that reactors still have to do this filter because they are still afraid of that copyright system.
Well,
even though Death Battle's not owned by Roosterteeth anymore. Reaction channels are still doing like filters.
I think
some of them. Some of them do it to be respectful to the original, and some just do it because of the copyright PTSD.
Yeah, I think it's that many of them have been able to do it now, and like, you know, Elara is a YouTuber we brought up regarding this third topic, and she literally shows just her avatar on the bottom of the screen and the full episode on the background, and she doesn't get hit with copyright. Now, granted, it was a live stream, so she showed other things, but
it's not a problem anymore. But still, I think the biggest reason why Rooster Teeth kind of hold Death Battle back was financially contracts, and just not listening to the team when stuff was happening.
I can actually agree with a lot of that. It is unfortunate. Is that all you want to say, and then we'll wrap up this third topic? Yeah, so I guess to end it off, it's because all of us relatively are on a similar wavelength, but there is a little bits we disagree on. I think just in general, though, people do have it wrong that Rooster Teeth weren't holding Death Battle back intentionally. I think because, you know, while we're looking from a business standpoint, from the higher-ups, you got to remember the people that also work for the company. Like, these are people that want to share their work, they want it to come out. They like, if many of the people behind Rooster Teeth, if they could actually have RWBY be shown for free and not suffer financially, they probably would do it. Like, many of these guys get involved in fan projects and stuff like that, as well as Death Battle. But we live in the real world, people. Money makes the world go round.
Money talks.
It does. Like, I would love to live in a society where money is obsolete and we just go by the trust system. Would be stupid to do that, but it would be a great world, I guess. But I don't think the people behind Rooster Teeth were purposely holding Death Battle back like people want to believe. I think people always try and rationalize a dramatic idea of when something bad happens to someone or something. Like, you know, when Rooster Teeth shut down, people were like, oh, it was their own fault. It's just like, no, it's just bad luck. Like, you know, it's just bad luck that some of these things happen. You know, a company could be doing really well for a good few years, and then suddenly they hit a hiccup and they just never get back up from it. But thankfully, Rooster Teeth is coming back now.
Yeah, look at Enron.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth is back now. Now, yes, they don't have Funhouse, Achievement Hunter, and all that stuff underneath them anymore. They are going to have to start scratch, which is a lot harder to do when you don't have a lot of the original people. At the moment, things could change.
I mean, as far as we know, they just have Bernie and Ashley.
Yeah. I don't think Rooster Teeth are going to get the attention they got when they had RWBY. Apparently, they do have the rights to Red vs. Blue, though, but given how the finals...
Yeah, they still have Red vs. Blue, Camp Cam. I think... Wait. No, I think it's Warner Brothers who still have Genlock, but no one gives a shit about it.
Unfortunate, that show could have been something amazing. They had David Tennant on there. How do you mess that up? I guess he was too expensive. But my final point regarding this whole topic is, realistically, people, we want to come up with a crazy conspiracy about Rooster Teeth holding them back. In reality, though, I think yeah, I'm talking metaphorically, mate. What I'm trying to say is, I just think Rooster Teeth and Death Battle were just hit by bad luck. You know, like us, sometimes we'll have videos that we upload that we're thinking we're going to do really good on, but then the views they're not as big. Like, you know, I would like to have Link versus Chosen Undead to reach 20k views, but sadly not. Sadly, my SpongeBob videos do more better than all my Death Battle videos combined.
Yep.
Just...
I'd also throw out, like, look how my fanfics do, like, comparatively. Like, B Family versus Spy, which did better is very blatantly obvious.
It's like, we want to come up with, like, these dark theories and everything, but there's no such dark theories that are, like, that drastically bad.
No. Like, realistically, I just look at it as that Rooster Teeth were trying to, you know, focus on something that's earning them more money than Death Battle is. Death Battle were trying to earn their own money to help finance the show. Both didn't do well at it, and they got hit with bad luck. Death Battle's now able to do better because they can be independent, and I'm hoping Rooster Teeth can come back. Like, I would like it if they could get the rights to RWBY back. Realistically, I don't think this pop is going to be given that back anytime soon.
Nah, it's not happening. Although I did have one idea. what if, say, Rooster Teeth does get the whole animation thing back up, and Viz pays them to animate RWBY?
Well, again, though, it's a big financial risk because, like I said, RWBY's not as financially stable as it used to be. It's just one of those things where it would be a gamble. I mean, it's Rooster Teeth's doing a gamble in the first place. What is there going to be their main attraction now? Are they just going to bring back Red versus Blue and just ruin the ending they created? Are they going to do spin-offs? We don't know. These are just things we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, I do think this third topic, people are trying to think, did Rooster Teeth hold them back? Personally, it really depends on how you look at it. I don't think they were secretly trying to manipulate them into not being able to do quality episodes. I don't think that was the case. Because why would they want one of their things to fail? And I think that is where we'll pretty much end it off. And with all that said and done, what do you guys think of the previous episode, Mahito versus Shigaraki? What do you think of the next time? And do you think Rooster Teeth was in fact holding back Death Battle, whether financially, creatively, or I don't know, maybe they didn't give him enough toilet paper? Whichever theory you want to come up with, share in the comments below and we'll either critique it or we'll kind of listen to your insight. With all that said and done, thank you so much for watching and be sure to stay... I messed up my outro. Be sure to stick around, we'll have more content like this in the future. Farewell, everybody.